Thank you, Batih from Bimasena. Just would like to know from your experiences on the investment. For your experience, whether the investment is come from the corporate investment or it can be supported for financial institution. Because as we heard from Ibu Niftira this morning, that kind of initiative, maybe from our point of view in this room, this is very good initiative, but from other side, from financial institution, whether they say that, oh, this is fossil, this is not in line with energy transition, something like that. What do you think?
The investment is coming, I think, for the OGCI, coming from the 12 companies who made a plan for the investment. But I don't fully understand the question, I think. What should I?
Could you explain? Maybe, let's put it this way, probably, what will be the driver for the fighting climate change? Whether the financial institution will accept, correct me if I'm wrong, Pak, will accept more on if you are an OGMP member or if you are an OGCI, or is it any reason behind to choose one of them? Is that correct, or is?
Actually, let me put this way. If we would like to be a member of the OGMP or OGCI, there will be additional investment, right?
Okay, yes,
okay,
yes,
right?
yes. The cost of
the cost
doing
of doing
yes,
the initiative,
yes.
right? And then, in your experience, the company is spending their money from their own money, or supported from the other from the financial institution. This is the key question that this morning we discussed, that financial institution is kind of like allergic of the initiative from fossil fuel. Whether we know that this is the good initiative in terms of carbon reduction, something like that. Thank you.
Well, for the OGMP, you have an investment, and it hangs with the reduction. So, to join the membership of the OGMP, it's free, but you have to have the investments to lower your emissions to a certain target. I think it can be funded, or government-funded projects, or I don't know, yeah, or both. Yeah. There are some governments who are doing projects for certain kinds of measurements. With the OGCI, you really have to report what percentage of your revenue you're going to invest in development. So for the OGCI, you really have to give them a fixed number, or 0.2% of my profit I will invest in. You really have to submit it into your report and then prove that you did the investments. For the OGMP, you report your budget. You can report your budgets, but that's not necessary. They want to see the abatement plans. What are the plans you have? Building here a flare instead of a vent, connecting everything to the vents, but they don't want to see the number of the investments. They just want to see the reduction afterwards. That's a little bit different, but it can be probably government funded or.
Okay, so I think let's put it this way. We talk a lot because I'm working in the investment firm and talking a lot with the investment companies as well. You know, a company like, for example, BlackRock. BlackRock is still investing in fossil fuel projects. Yeah, so not all the company is actually too itchy about fossil. Yeah, there's still companies. In financial institutions, private equities, or even investment banks that still funded fossil fuel projects. Yes, there's less and less. Yeah, there's a tighter and tighter. That's why they need some sort of reason for us. Okay, if I want to invest in this, fossil fuel, I need some sort of reason to explain to my shareholder, for example, that. Yeah, this is good for the, good for the world, because I'm investing in something that can be actually contributing to the fighting climate change, even though it's still a fossil fuel. So people, companies need more and more reasons to get funded. So yeah, there's plenty of companies, there's plenty of banks that want to stay away from fossil, but they still use jets, they still use commercial planes that also use fossil fuel as well. Our clothes is also made from oil. So, you know, it's getting tighter, but I think it's there. And a good point about, that's why I'm saying that oil and gas has to shift, has to follow the flow on what the global trend is. Yeah, the global trend right now is going green, so we try to make going green. And I also mentioned, EIA report mentioned that the next 10 years, the demand is still growing, the demand of fossil fuel. Even, yes, the percentage, the portions of fossil fuels reducing, but as a volume, the demand is still growing the next 10 years. So we cannot escape or transition as fast as we can to you know, renewables and so on and so on. So I think there's still a number of companies, investment companies, who are actually interested in oil and gas company. My investment company is also still interested in oil and gas projects. But yes, it's going tighter, and then this kind of initiative give them a reason to get funded. Yeah. So I hope it helps to answer the question. Thank you. Yes. From SKK. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. As a follow-up questions of Bapak tadi, do you think that by a company listed as a membership of OGMP, member of OGMP, and all the reporting that they have to they have provided to OGMP will help or could be used to get funded from the financial institutions?
It depends on what country you're living in, probably. For example, in Belgium, there is no, I think, funding for that, so you need to fund it yourself. But I can imagine that there are countries where it's partially funded. But I have no idea in Indonesia if it's going to be the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, most of our projects are funded from overseas. Yeah. It's foreign funding, FDI, foreign direct investment into Indonesia. But as I mentioned, explained earlier, that not all companies or not investment companies are not into fossil fuels, or you know, they try to stay away, but well, there's still profits. You know, a lot of oil and gas companies make a lot of profits last year. Yeah, Aramco's making $160 billion in net profits last year, not even revenues, in net profits. So they're making a lot of money. Like, for example, in Middle East, we talk a lot in the Middle East program. They fund startups with oil and gas revenues. Yeah. So are they staying away from fossil? No, they're not. They're not. So there's a lot of money going around in the world right now to look for better opportunities. I think Exxon is not like self-funded. When they go to Guyana and make a production, there's a bank behind that. There's a financial institution behind that. So it's not like they have their own capital, they have their own reserve to fund their operation in Guyana, for example, which is one of the biggest right now in making oil. So I think, yeah, it's getting tighter, but still opportunity in there. And definitely I see that there's there's opportunity that OGMP can help, for the financial institution to give them a reason why should I invest in this company. Yes, it's fossil, but I think it's cleaner than other company who is not a member of OGMP, for example. So you give them more reasons to fund. So I think it's a positive point on that one.
We measured, for example, Aramco. It's 6 million points that we measure. And the reason why they started was because they sold 2% of their company. Yeah? And if they can prove they had a good leak detection program and a good reduction, that was worth, this 2% was worth $50 million more.
Exactly.
Yeah?
They
So
make a lot of billions of dollars in
So
their
only
first
by
IPO.
our work, they won a lot of money by selling 2% of their company, because they can prove to the shareholders, look, we have a credible, a good leak detection program. It's also for insurance reasons, a good thing. So yeah.
So their shares going up, yes. They make, they spent 2 years for their IPO. The first, the IPO that they had is they're selling 1% of their shares. And the way to do that, and of course they have to prove themselves that, okay, we are a clean company. Yes, we make fossil fuel, which is not clean, but we are doing it in the cleanest way possible. So this is, it benefit, the shares went up, and they participate in the, methane initiative. Yeah.